incomplete, but I don't know, it's not very clear, but he's not happy, moving around there, all alone. Suddenly the Veena, strings the Veena, Mahati Veena, Narayana, Narada Muni appears there and falls at the feet and prostrates, and Narada looks at the Vedavyasa and he says that Vedavyasa, Vyasochistam, Jagat Sarvam, whatever we call as the content and component of the knowledge is available in the whole world, whatever scriptures that you have got, whatever Shastras you have got, whatever Vyakhyanas you have got, whatever Bhashyas you have got, whatever you call as the philosophy, darshan, tattva, siddhanta, everything is given by you, Vyasochistam Jagatsuram. But still, why are you looking pale? But still, why are you looking so sad? But still, why are you looking so incomplete? As if you have not done adequately. You are looking inadequate, you are looking incomplete, you are looking sadistic, you are looking unhappy. Please enlighten me. What is the reason? Still his mom, Vedavyasa is silent, Vedavyasa, his mom is not talking and is not happy at all. Even he is not happy to talk. Now Narad himself takes initiative and he says, okay, you want me to clarify, I myself will clarify. You have classified the Vedas, codified the Vedas, indexed the Vedas, categorized the Vedas, made it reachable, made it understandable, made it assimilable. Even Westerns are able to understand. That's a different story. You gave the Vedas, but who can understand the Vedas? All the Purohits, they lifted the Vedas and they converted it into Karma Kanda. You gave the Upanishads. Upanishads are above the capacity and understanding levels of the people. Not even sages are able to understand the heights, the celestial heights of the greatest thoughts. Ordinary people are deprived of the great ideals, ideas, thoughts, thought waves of Upanishad. People could not understand it. You gave Mahabharata. When you gave Mahabharata, it was great. In fact, the only one epic in the whole of the world, in the entire history of the humankind. I am not telling that. This is stated by most of the Western scholars. Very recently, a book, American Veda, has appeared, written by a great American professor. He's an American. He says that for me, the Bible was extraordinary, the Quran was extraordinary, Paradise Lost was extraordinary, Paradise Regained was extraordinary. But after learning the Indian language, after reading the Mahabharata, after going through the Mahabharata in depth, I now am convinced, I have conviction, the Bible of the Quran of the Paradise Lost, they're all just short stories for me. Just declare. The American Veda, he writes about it. There's only one human brain in the history of the entire humankind which could conceive Mahabharata and produce Mahabharata. It is not great to write the greatest literature now. When there was no such concepts, when there was nothing of this literature, literary concept, that human brain conceived that Mahabharata and produced it, even today it's a wonder. And now Narada is telling you, gave Mahabharata, but what? In Mahabharata, there is a Shakuni, there is a Dushasana, there is Duryodhana. So everybody who reads will not get pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. It's impossible. They also interfere. You give Bhagavad Gita. People call it as Karma Yoga. I will do my duty and my duty itself is God. People take the shelter under Bhagavad Gita. They make it a Karma Yoga. I want you to give one grantha, one work, which is immersed in the ocean of Shuddha Bhakti, Sattvika Bhakti, Purna Bhakti, Paripurna Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti. Please give one such word. Then Narada says, this is not my first janma. Vedavyasa amazingly asks a question. What? You are Brahma's son. Yes, I am Brahma's son. But earlier to this, I had a janma. I will clarify to you. In earlier janma, in my Purva janma, I was a Dasi Putra in a Kugrama. Except stark poverty and utter poorness, we did not have anything. And only my mother was there. Nobody was there. In somebody's cow shed, my mother was actually taking care of me. There was no food, no clothes, no shelter. She was actually working and serving in the houses of many people in the village. Whatever little that they give in the prasada in the evening, she was bringing. In one rainy season, there were a group of sannyasis came to our village. Suddenly there was a heavy rain and it became Chaturmasya period. So they thought and they decided also in the mandapa of our village, they wanted to have Chaturmasya Sankalpa. They sat for Chaturmasya in our village, and just by the side of the village, that mandapa, the river was flowing, and villagers asked my mother to do the cleaning of the floor, cleaning of the cloths, cleaning of the vessels, and helping, serving those sannyasis. And because it was such a terrific rain, my mother could not leave me in that cowshed in the morning. So when she was getting up 4 o'clock, she was also taking me and she was bringing me to the mandapa as a small child of 5-6 years. And I was sitting in the corner. At 3:30 in the morning, sannyasis were getting up. They were going to the river, taking the dip in the river. They were coming back and they were sitting for dhyana. They were doing the japa. They were doing the puja. They were doing the archana. They were doing the arati. They were doing the abhisheka. They were doing the naivedya. Then afterwards, they were doing the upanyasa. They were doing all the kirtans and sankirtan. They were giving the tirtha. They were giving prasada to everyone. Ultimately, after everyone's completion, they were giving prasada to my mother. She was bringing and she was giving the prasada to me. So entire Chaturmasya, my eyes were looking only those Swamijis, Sannyasis, Puja, Artana, Kirtana, Varna, Sankirtana, Nartana, Vandana, only those things. And my ears were listening only for that Veda, chantings, mantra, stotra, all these things. And I was drinking only tirtha. I was eating only prasada. Completely at the age of 6 years, entire body, the entire blood and the entire nervous system and entire breathing was full of this vibration atmosphere for me. After the Chaturmasya, all of them, they just started deported and they were about to go and they were going. I did not know. Suddenly the sentiment burst out. I started crying and weeping, and the senior among the Swamijis, he could see me. He came back and he lifted me. He hugged me and he brought his lips, his mouth towards my ears, and he said me to close your eyes. I closed. Then he told, please listen to this mantra attentively, carefully, and repeat this. He gave one mantra and he told me 3 times. He asked me to repeat it 3 times. I got it. Then he told, just close your eyes. I will tell the form of the God who will be there in the mantra, and take it to your heart and see only that God in future. So he gave the form of the God. He gave that mantra. He blessed me. The touch of the blessing was so great. Even after his departure, in the ears, mantra was ringing. In the heart, darshan of the Lord was there. Within short span of time, my mother, when she went to fetch the milk from the cow shed, there was a snake with a snake bite. She also felt it. There was only one obstruction, one link, one connection with this world for me. That was my brother. That connection also gone. Absolutely, I had no connection with this world whatsoever. I went to the forest and went to the top of a particular hill rock, sat there, closed my external eyes, opened my internal eyes, started looking inward, that form of Lord which that particular Swamiji has given. I was just looking at that, and chanting the mantra that he has given to me. And at some point of time, there was a thunderstorm, there was a terrific light, there was a tremendous light, and I opened, there was electrifying lightning all across from the sky, and there was a Shariravani, and immediately followed by that, whatever form of Lord that I was experiencing inside, that Lord appeared over there in the sky. It was ecstasy, it was divine joy, and tears followed. Within second, it disappeared. I started crying, shouting, I want darshan, continuous darshan. Then once again Akashvani was there. For this janma, only this much. Shed your body in the next janma, anywhere you want, anytime you want, all the 24 hours, all the 14 lokas, you can see me, you can feel me, you can enter into my loka, you can experience me, and you are going to propagate me everywhere. And in that, after some time, I shed my body. Now I am born as Narada, son of Brahma. And with my experience, I have got only one appeal to you, Vedavyasa. Except bhakti, except bhakti, except bhakti, everything will be immaterial, everything will be irrelevant. Only bhakti purifies you, only bhakti will enrich you, only bhakti brings fulfillment for the life. Please give one work, one such great work, which is completely engrossed, submerged, immersed in the ocean of the Ashuddha Bhakti. As a result of this appeal, appeared the last and the magnum opus work of Vedavyasa called as Srimad Bhagavata. When actually the Bhagavata started, the last day of Mahabharata possibly is the seedling of the first day of the Bhagavata. The last day, the 18th day, war of Mahabharata, when all the 11 Akshauhini Sainya of the Kauravas are completely devastated and smashed by the Pandavas. The last person to fall on the bank of the Vaishampayana Sarovara, thigh broken by the most powerful and the mighty blow from the Gada of the Bhimasena, that fellow who has fallen there, fallen hero is Duryodhana. The thighs of Duryodhana, it is such a terrific state, a pathetic state. Blood is oozing out, the muscles are actually squeezing out, nerves are hanging out, but still the fellow is not looking at the pain. For him, the feeling is different. I say, Bhima has actually given the blow here, I say. He has not touched here, he has spared here, nothing has affected here. I am completely alright here. My brain is functioning, mind is functioning, I am able to think, I am able to program, I am able to plan, I can do wonderful scheming, I say. Only one thing, no mobility. I can't get up, I can't run, I can't move, I lost mobility. I want some person, let some person come, let some person come. He may be ordinary, he may be common, he need not be brainy, he need not be smart. Only thing is, he must have mobility, he must have heart. Immediately they must go and take. I'll just transfer all my technology, all my scheme to that fellow. He has to sit on the horse, go there, pounce upon the Pandava camp, burn them. I have got the idea, I have got the plan. Please, let somebody come, let somebody come, let somebody come. Last seconds of his life, last minutes of his life. Whatever you think in the last moments of your life, you are going to get it. Whatever you aspire in the dying moments of your life, you are going to get it. Let somebody come. Came. Who came? Ashwatthama came. Ashwatthama came over there. Ashwatthama comes and looks at the plight and this pathetic situation of his emperor, shouts, who is instrumental, responsible for actually making my emperor bring it to this state? Tell me, I am going to cut them into 100 pieces. Tell me, king, command me what I have to do. Now Duryodhana was waiting for such fantastic opportunity. Forget about me. I'm already dying and I'm going to die within a few seconds. That's a different story. Your father Drona had so much of love and affection and concern, affinity for those Pandavas. Much more than loving you, he loved them selflessly. Gave Shastra, gave Abhyasa, gave everything to them. For such a guru who has sacrificed everything for them, they ditched him. They cheated him. They killed him. They murdered him. In front of everybody, they stabbed him. How can you take it? How can you tolerate it? Now that fellow jumps. He becomes explosive. Tell me what I have to do. Where are those Pandavas? Don't shout. I said, sit, come here. Give me 2 promises. What promise you want? Come here. First promise. What is that? Create a Nishpandava Prithvi. How can I create a Nishpandava Prithvi? You have to create a Pandava. There should not be a single Pandava left on the earth. That is your responsibility. Even those Pandavas who are in the womb of the ladies of the Pandava, they should be killed. Nishpandava Prithvi create. Yes, I'm going to create it because whatever tapasya I'm going to use it for that purpose. Second one. What is the second one? No Pandava children should rule this world. Give it. Only our Kaurava children should rule it. You give the promise. Ashwatthama shouts, it's impossible. Why? Your children are dead, your brothers are dead, your brothers' children are dead, your brother-in-law is dead, all your people are dead, not even a single Kaurava is left, I know. And how Kauravas can rule? Please understand me. Then he says, it is not sufficient to have the body, you need brains. What? He said, You know, Ashwatthama, you agree that I am the king of this country? Yes, I agree. As a king, I have got every right, every freedom, authority to appoint, to coronate, to designate anybody as the king. I am empowered to empower any other person as the king at any time. Do I have that right? Yes, sir, you have full right to make anybody king of this country. Okay, in that case, please come near. He came. Then Duryodhana, dying fellow, took a full mud load from his hand, handful of mud, pours it on the head of Ashwatthama, blesses him and he says, this is the Ratnabhisheka, this is the Pattabhisheka. As the king and the emperor of this country, I have empowered you, decorated you, coronated you. Now and here, as the king, from this moment you have become the king. Now you are the king. What? You are the king. My wife Bhanumati is beautiful and she is the queen. She is the queen. You are the king. And coming together and mingling together of this king and the queen, if a child is born, let that child rule this world, not the Pandava children. First officially documented indecent proposal of the world. Ashwatthama is a Naishtika Brahmachari, Ajanma Brahmachari, Bala Brahmachari. From the very childhood he had the tapasya, celibacy, self-control, self-discipline, dhyana, brahmacharya. That was tapasya. The moment he listened to this type of immoral, unethical, indecent proposal, he was mum, he was silent. Silence became acceptance in the Shastra. Suddenly, that second, he lost all his tapashakti. Brahmacharya Shakti is lost. But now Duryodhana says, hurry up, get up, go there, pounce upon them, kill everybody in the Pandava camp. He just rushes. There were only 3 people left in the 11 Akshauhini. Krupa, Krutavarma, Ashwatthama, only 3 people there. Then he takes both Krupa and Krutavarma and moves galloping speed towards the Pandavas' camp. Here what happened? After 18 days, hectic and strainful and stressful war, all the people in the Pandavas' camp, survivors, they are so much stressed out, tired, all of them are sleeping, God Nidra. Then Draupadi, the small children, Draupadi had five children, small children, tender children. 30 ಮಲಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ 5 ಜನ ಕಂದಮ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ. ಧರ್ಮರಾಜ, ಭೀಮ, ಅರ್ಜುನ, ನಕುಲ, ಸಹದೇವ completely exhausted and they can't even stand for another 5 minutes. And they are spreading their sheets and they are about to sleep. Suddenly, gate crashes. Krishna enters and he shouts at this Draupadi, shouts at this Pandava. All your relatives, your kith and kin, your elders and your gurus, your close relatives, all them are dead bodies in the burial ground. Tomorrow there will be mass burial. Even after the war, what is this animosity? What is this hostility? What is this enmity? Maranantani Vairani. After the death, there cannot be any enmity. They are all your relatives, they are all your guru, they are well-wishers. Get up, now and here, have the darshan of everyone, pay your last respect. You got the complete janma for sleeping. This is not the time to sleep. Start off immediately. He hurried and made all them to get up, and all them they Draupadi. By the time children were asleep and Draupadi got up, Dharmaraja, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, there were 6 people. They went along with Krishna. Within the next minutes of Krishna and Pandava's departure, arrived at gate crashing 3 people, Ashwatthama, Krupa, Krutavarma. Ashwatthama entered inside like a bullet. All the 5 tender small children of Draupadi who were actually sleeping in the very first row, he killed them mercilessly. Then he jumped inside. Drushtadimna and Shikandi, who actually steered through the entire Pandava army towards the victory as the commanders, Ashwatthama killed Drushtadimna and Shikandi. They entered further. All the remaining well-wishers and relatives and friends and the warriors on this side, the Pandavas were actually, he started putting the fire, burnt them, killed them, stabbed them. Some of them in the darkness who started running outside near the gates, Krupa and Krutavarma, both them stood with the sharp edged swords. Anybody who were trying to escape, they were getting the heads of those people. Draupadi got the news and immediately she fell unconscious and she could not take it, she could not tolerate. Immediately Arjuna becomes so wild. Arjuna takes an oath. Within 24 hours, whosoever that fellow might be, that criminal who has actually mercilessly, brutally killed your children, within 24 hours, whosoever that fellow might be, I am going to capture that fellow and put him at your feet. I am going to kill that fellow at your feet. Immediately, same Ratha and same Krishna as the Sarathi and the Arjuna, their speed, and Krishna knows who the culprit is, and immediately they chase Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama basically was a fantastic and very speedy driver and Sarathi, but because he has lost the Shakti of the Brahmacharya and the Siddhi, he could not maintain the speed. Even though Arjuna was a Grihastha, he was not Brahmachari, still when Urvashi wanted Arjuna because he was extraordinarily powerful, beautiful, and Urvashi, all the gods are longing and craving to have the Urvashi. When such an Apsara herself is interested in Arjuna, Arjuna tells Urvashi, I'm happy you say that you love me. I have experienced the Matru Prema. I want that Matru Prema from you. Bless me and love me as the mother. Even though he was a Grihastha, still he had the power of Brahmacharya because of these moral values. And Arjuna could immediately go over there, Krishna's mystery worker there, they catch hold, and Ashwatthama was caught and he was actually captured, and they brought and put her at the feet of Draupadi. And immediately Bhimasena lifts the gada. In another 1 minute he has to actually kill. And Arjuna stops him. He says that it is my prey and I have captured him. I am going to cut him into pieces. Bhima says nothing doing. Another 1 second. When the quarrel was going on, immediately Draupadi opened her eyes. She was unconscious because this terrific galata. She opened her eyes and she stopped. Both of them. She says, Ma Rodhisasya Janani Gautami Patidevata Yataha Mrudavatsatta Rodhi Mashumrukimapu. Please don't kill Ashwatthama. What? Don't kill Ashwatthama. Why you should not kill him? Then Draupadi says, today you have won the war, and today you are the victors, and today you are going to become the kings, and today you are going to rule the whole world. Who has made you the Veeras? Who had actually taught you Astras, the Shastras? It is your Guru Dronacharya who is instrumental and responsible for making you the great victors of the entire war. And Ashwatthama is the son of Drona, and you have read the Shastras. The father will take the form of the son. Father will take the form of the son. Drona himself has come as Ashwatthama. Don't kill your Guru, don't kill Ashwatthama. And another thing I will tell you, I have experienced Vanavasa, I have experienced Agnatavasa, I have experienced Vastraparana, Umana, everything I have undergone. But that shoka, that pain, that tears, I could bear and I could tolerate and I could reconcile. But losing the children, Putra shoka, every second I am crumbling, I am collapsing, I am crushed. I don't want any mother in this world. I don't want any lady in this earth to undergo this ordeal, horrible ordeal of Putra shoka. And this Ashwatthama's mother, Krupi, in the recent war, has lost her husband Dronacharya. She should have gone Sati along with the husband, but just because Ashwatthama is there, and she could lie, she could leave looking at the face of Ashwatthama. She did not do Sati. So look at her. I don't want any lady to experience this Putra Shoka. It is unbearable. Please leave him. Don't kill him. But Bhima shouts, oh, this is sentimental talk. I don't want sentiment. After so many years, for the first time, we the Pandavas are becoming the ministers, governors, administrators, and governance and administration. All the 14 lokas are looking towards us for the precedents that we are going to set in the law and order administration. Hardcore criminal, this fellow, brutal murderer, merciless murderer of the children and the sleeping people. If this fellow is allowed to go scot-free, entire country will become a hell land for the criminals and the murderer. Nothing doing. I am going to cut this fellow into pieces. No sentiments at this point. Bhima lifts the gada. Draupadi stops him. Now the quarrel here. Krishna interferes. Krishna says, both of you are correct. Draupadi is correct. Bhima is more correct. How? Then Krishna clarifies. What do you mean by Ashwatthama? Who is Ashwatthama? Is it this body? Is it the dress? Is it the kavacha? Is it the bow and arrow? Ashwatthama is not this bad body. Ashwatthama is not the mad body. Ashwatthama, that tejas, that tapas, that radiance, that vibrance and that glow and that power, that potential, that extraordinary divya, Daivi Shakti of Ashwatthama. That is not the body. when he was born, along with the birth, a Shiroratna was attached to him. That Shiroratna is the power of Ashwatthama, potential of Ashwatthama, radiance of Ashwatthama, tapas of Ashwatthama, tejas of Ashwatthama. Cut it into pieces, that will be a mad body going in the street. That's all. Within the next second, Arjuna got a clue and opened the sword and cut the Shiroratna of Ashwatthama. Blood started oozing out, and that fellow became a really mad fellow, like a mad body. He started shouting and running in the street. Kaurava, Duryodhana is dead, and Kauravas are completely annihilated, and Pandavas, they have to rule, and the inauguration ceremony of Pandavas in a cricket stadium, fantastic stadium. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people are congregating for looking for witnessing the administration inauguration of the Pandava dynasty. From all the corners, all the forests, rishis have come, people have come, kings have come, chattans have come, commanders have come, ministers have come. Administration, new governor, the oath-taking ceremony. Dharmaraja is in the antechamber. Now Draupadi is actually she dressed up, and Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva are brimming with all the happiness. And ultimately, Narada Mahamuni comes there, and all the rishis comes there. They just ask the brothers to go and bring Dharmaraja, because he is the eldest and he has to be coronated, and he has to light up the lamp to inaugurate the entire administration. All of them, they go to the inner chamber of Dharmaraja. Dharmaraja is not dressed up, not even ready. He is weeping, crying. He is in a very depressed state, entered depression. All the people, why? What happened to you? He says, who want Rajya, who want Bhoga, who want Adhikara, who want this coronation, cancel the celebration. Cancel the celebration, I am ordering it to you. Why? What happened to you? Please cancel everything. I have murdered the relatives, I have murdered my gurus, I have murdered the children, I have murdered millions of people. Never in the history of the humankind, a person because of his Rajya Loha has murdered such millions and millions and teeming millions of people. Existing Narakas are not fit for me. A new Raurava Naraka has to be created for my crime that I have committed. You mean to say, with what face I can become Raja? Nothing doing, no Raja, no Rajya, no Bhoga, no Adhikara, no Andastu, no position. Cancel everything. We are going back to Vanavasana. Yeah, that's my order. All of them were shell-shocked, and they could not reconcile what this fellow, why all this trouble that they have taken for decades and decades. Why this fellow in the last moment suddenly got into depression. Immediately they called Narada. Narada told, Narada advised, nothing happened. They called Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa advised, nothing happened. Draupadi actually shed tears and pleaded, nothing happened. Bhimasena with all the loud voice shouts, but nothing happened. Arjuna with my loud voice told, nothing happened. Nakula, Sahadeva, they themselves are the Ashwini gods, and they tried to bring some type of metamorphosis in the mental frame, but nothing happened. As people are advising, he is becoming more and more stubborn, and he says that now and here take the cloths out, and immediately we are going out to Vanavasa. Then these people, they go to Krishna and fall at the feet of Krishna. You are the only savior. When we are in the ultimate crisis, you have rescued us. All the period when we were in crisis, you have rescued, and we are in terrific difficulty. Please come and rescue. Then he comes. Now Krishna gives advice. Krishna tells everything. Krishna opens up the reality. In spite of Krishna telling so much and convincing so much, still Dharmaraja is weeping, weeping, weeping. He is in depression. He could not listen and obey to Krishna. He did not have full Vishwasa in the words of Krishna. By that time the war was over, and the Vishwarupa Darshana was there, Bhagavad Gita was there, and everything, he knows at every second he knew who is Krishna, but still this work, he did not have full Vishwasa or confidence in the words of Krishna. Still he was weeping. He says, cancel, cancel. For a person of that stature like Dharmaraja, in spite of all the mystical experience that they had with Krishna, knowing fully well who is Krishna, in spite of all that, when Krishna gave sound and final advice, still he did not heed and did not have the full Vishwasa. What happened to Dharmaraja? This has been beautifully explained in Tatparya Nirnaya by Madhvacharya. He says, number one, after the entire thing, the administration, everything is over, Pandavas over, the Dwapara Yuga is over. And Krishna has entered into Parantama, and ultimately Pandavas decide to go for the northwards. They shed all their clothing and just they have the Narumadi. They start moving northwards. Mahaprasthana takes place. Yuganta takes place. All the 5 brothers and Draupadi start silently walking and moving towards Himalayas. And Draupadi, Sahadeva, Nakula, Arjuna, Bhima, one after another, they shed their bodies. Only one person who will reach till the end when the Devaratha comes was Dharmaraja. But along with Dharmaraja, even though there was no human being, then one dog was following, one dog was accompanying, very smilingly it was accompanying, and it accompanied till the last second of his life. Now Devaratha arrives, Devaduta opens the doors, and Dharmaraja is actually boarding there. Along with Dharmaraja smiling, the dog is also entering. Suddenly Devaduta jumps out and they stop and they say, no entry for the dogs in Devaloka, send them back, otherwise we will not allow you. Now Dharmaraja was puzzled. He says that in the procession of my life, millions and millions of people interacted and came and actually expressed their friendship, but nobody came in the end. Nobody came in the end. Nobody stayed, including my brothers and wife did not stay and came till the end. But this dog, without any reason, without any obligation, had so much of love and concern for me. It came to the last second of my life. So, at this stage, just because I have secured the entry, boarding pass into Devaloka, if I enter, leaving this in the lurch, it is the great injustice, adharma that I am doing. So, if you allow this dog also to Devaloka, I will enter. Otherwise, I don't want, I will suffer here only. The moment it came from his mouth, immediately that particular dog became Yamadharmaraja. And Yamadharma said smilingly, this was the last test given to you. Any human being, when he is waiting in the bus stand, the railway station or the airport with a lot of rush is there, only one bus is there, 40 seats inside and 400 people outside. And suddenly when the bus comes and the door is opened, one fellow goes and closes from inside and will not allow anybody to come. That is the psychology of the beings. When we open the doors of Devaratha for Devaloka, you said that you give, you have nothing to do with that, but your concern and your care, your affinity, your sincere concern for the animals, something extraordinary. Please come. Welcome. Dharma welcomes, and it was Sargaloka. He was